always have a bad turning circle. Everyone loves them. The Japanese woman's talking to me as I'm coming on VTEC. Right, guys. My first FD2 experience. Huge shout out to Adam, the owner, for letting me take his pride and joy out. He's had this car about 3-4 weeks. Fresh import from Tokyo itself. Ooh, this is an FD2. Some of you may not know what these are. Some of you may know what these are. They have the K20A engine. Obviously being import, it's the A engine in these ones. Let's get this on the road. Let's see what this car is all about. It's got Japanese. Oh, that's so cool. There's so much I need to show you guys on this car, honestly. Get this on the road. Let's go and have some fun. Okay, so initial impressions. What are my initial impressions on this FD2? Very stiff. Very, very stiff, in fact. Stiffer than, I think, any, relatively standard Honda Civic, but that K20, she is a peach in this 4-door Civic. Now, let's get on to the fact that this is a 4-door. I think, 2007 this car is. Honda had a thought that maybe the older generation wouldn't mind a 4-door, wouldn't mind the space for their kids, a bigger boot. Maybe if you were growing up a little bit and you needed a 4-door, this is the car. And there's been a lot of stigma about the newer Honda Civic, Type Rs especially, being 4-doors, but I think it already happened in Japan. This is the car. It had already happened, and I think people might have forgotten that, and this has gone down as a hero. It really has. In my books, I love it. I think it's awesome. Yes, you're going to be a bit stiffer than, its rivals, but I don't think there's any rival to this. You're buying it because of what it is at the end of the day. Inside, though, really, really cool, setup, like an FN2, really. You've got the revs in front of you. You've got the speedo just at the top. Relatively, same sort of basic layout as the FN2. You do have, less switches, I think, in this one. It's a bit of a cleaner look. Seats, very nice bucket seats, say Type R on them, as they should. Back seats, same sort of deal. But that engine in this car, it really does complement this chassis in a way that I didn't think it would. It's still very nippy. It feels tight. The car feels very, very tight. This one is on 106,000 kilometers. What's that? 60, 70,000 miles leave a comment below. But it feels very tight. It feels a lot shorter than I was expecting. I was expecting it to feel a little bit more cumbersome, a little bit bigger, but you come on VTEC, it tells you you've come on VTEC. Revving round to 8 and a bit thousand RPM with that J's Racing catback exhaust system. It is like the car that they didn't make in this country, the NA version of the newer cars. They should have brought this to the UK, I think, or some sort of variant of it. There's a car coming. Oh, it's a Picasso. They won't care about cars. Oh, I'm going to tuck in here. It's a Picasso, man. Like, it's just, life's over when you buy a Picasso, innit? They said thank you, though. That's the main thing. Right, anyway, although I don't think this would have worked in the UK, especially, it should have come. Oh, I love a good bit of VTEC. Gotta love it. buddy. That's just awesome, that thing. It really is. I'll put you guys on a bin. Let me take you for a little tour around this FD2. So starting with the outside styling, 4 doors, Honda Civic. It doesn't really go together most of the time. You paint it in white though, obviously the import white. Every Japanese car that's imported that's Honda needs to be white, obviously. But the 4 doors work on this one. I think, you know, with the touch of FN2 that this car has, it's what the FN2 should have come as a variant in the UK, especially in my opinion. The look of this compared to maybe an FN2, I think I prefer this. Maybe it's because I haven't seen too many of them, but I do feel that this is a bit more brutish, a bit bigger. Yeah, it's not a hot hatch, it's more of a saloon with the same sort of styling and body aesthetics maybe of the FN2. But I've got big love for it in the 4-door form, I really do. You do see a lot of Civic flavour in this car. Coming around the front, you do have the, you know, the same sort of FN2 looking front. I like the body lines, you know, especially down here. What is sort of a standard splitter coming round to, you know, what you would do as an aftermarket piece on this car. So already has that sort of styling to it. I do like these bits in the grille as well coming down. Bit of a style feature that you wouldn't usually see. Coming down the side, these do have, you know, quite a big kit on them, I suppose, from the standard actual car. Side skirts coming down, swooping into the rear of the car, and then coming round to that glorious back end is what I genuinely like the back of this car. Sort of a diffuser style coming down, J's Racing exhaust as well. Sort of got a droop on it. Shout out droops. Look at that, it's a droop. 4 sort of, you know, the quad tail lights on this as well. And then, you know, a Civic rear wing, because that's sort of the same style. If you come around here, this is sort of the same look as the FN2s, sort of arcing up in the middle and that side as well. It's got such a cool presence, this car though, I think. Something you don't see in the UK. You don't see a hot version of this style of car, you know, from this era. Yeah, the newer Civics are the hot versions of this, don't get me wrong, but it's the NA engine that sells it. It really does just absolutely sell the idea that this is how it should have been, or at least a variant from, you know, maybe even an EP3 should have come in this variant. Something to think about, something to think about. Leave a comment below if I'm wrong. Something to think about. Another thing that the Honda purists on my channel will absolutely love is the Mugen wind deflectors that this car has. Very, very cool feature on these. Also, blue glass. I can't find spoon or anything on these. There's no sort of markings to show what they actually are. But blue glass, very Japanese thing to have on one of these cars. Coming down, Brembo's as standard on these as well, the red Brembo calipers, and I'm definitely going to get slated in the comments for this. I do not know how to say these wheels. 5Zigen? 5ZIGEN or something like that, but they're on the car. They look really cool. I do like the look of these from the standard wheels. Also, it's got raised lug nuts, bolts on this one as well. Very Japanese. Go inside though. Inside this car, again, you know, if you're an FN2 fan, if you've got an FN2, you'll start picking out FN2 parts in this. This one is still in kilometers. You know, it's a very fresh import, this one. It's only been on the road 3-4 weeks at this present time. It still has all of the Honda servicing actually in Japanese writing there. Look at that. So cool. Coming inside though, something I have to show you guys. That in there is a card reader for the tolls in Japan. And, you know, if you guys didn't know, a lot of toll roads in Japan, there is a lot of toll roads in Japan, so it is something you would need in these cars. Such a cool feature that it's still in there. Let's step back in, because you get a couple of other bits. These I don't think are a standard put in radio, or, you know, some sort of transmitter for toll roads or whatever it is, but it's nice that they're still in this car. Someone hasn't pulled them out. Now, closing the door, putting the key in ignition, we'll start the engine with the start button just there. It's so Japan, it's talking to you in Japanese. As you can see, the actual sat nav itself is still in Japanese too. And as you can hear, that is the chime of the keys still in the ignition, but it's such a Honda thing. And even in 2007, they were putting that noise in these cars. Hilarious. Now, one thing to point out about these is they do actually have a limited slip diff, a standard, so you can feel it as you drive. It's also got a better ratio gearbox in these, so you can slam it through the gears very, very easily. And although, don't get me wrong, yeah, it's quite stiff, not choppy, it's very orientated for drive, this car. It's still very comfortable. The seats are comfortable, the actual ride of this car is comfortable. Although the suspension is, you know, stiff, but it should be stiff. It's a Type R, it says Type R in front of me right there. It should be. It's got the red Honda badges, it should be stiff. It's the point where second gear, you grab it by the nuts. Oh, there's so many cyclists along this road. We're out for a Sunday hoot, get out the way! Oh, these cyclists don't know what they're missing with stuff like this. But yeah, drive. You have the VTEC little light come on there and it builds up right round. It tells you when to change gear as well. Oh, so driver focused as well. The whole dash, the whole inside of this car. Very, very driver focused, although you still have the 4 doors. They knew what they were talking about when they built this. They really did. They knew exactly what their target market was. They knew what they wanted out of their car. And you get it once you jump in one of these. And yes, let's talk about price. There's a big, big difference between this and an FN2, an EP3, you know, whatever. There's a big difference in price, but I think I understand it. You get the rarity with these big time. You know, they have to be imported. You have to find a good one as well. I think, you know, if you're going to spend the money, you're going to get a good one. General consensus with my part day with a FD2. What do I think? What do I think of this car? It's stiff. If you like your comfy cars, I'm a comfy car enthusiast myself. I think you guys know that. But if you do take it down a B road that's quite bumpy like I've done today, you'll really feel a bit of a choppier ride, but nothing that I don't think I've ever felt from any other Type R. Not too bad. Other things to point out that I do like though, seating position. Big time. Seating position, I really like. The raked out steering wheel, you know, the sort of dish steering wheel, I suppose. In this beautiful countryside of the UK, this car is at home. It really is. Japanese yet, imported yet, but it is at home here. It's very nimble. It still feels like a small hot hatch, but you do have the added benefits of back doors, big boot, that huge wing as well, which, not like the FN2, it doesn't get in the way. And I know the FN2 has the glass and stuff, don't get me wrong. Something to point out, the spoiler doesn't get in the way in one of these, so if you don't want the spoiler getting in the way, buy one of these instead. What I do love though is the simplicity of this car. The NA engine, the close ratio gearbox, LSD, it's simple, it's what works. And you chuck that in a package like this, give it some bloody VTEC. Yep. This is a really good idea. This is a really good idea. It's a shame we never got it. At least you can import one. At least you can import one, that's the main thing. Guys, if you did like this video, a bit of a different idea, style, no review here. I don't want to review these cars, I want to enjoy them for you guys. If you've ever wanted to, you know, come for a drive in one of these, this is the idea of this new style of video. I don't want to review these cars anymore, I want to just enjoy them with you guys. I think that's my idea, and this is one of them. I've enjoyed the living crap out of this car today, and I hope the video speaks for itself. If you did like the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. Remember to check out FYDapparel.com, my clothing company. Support the channel, buy some FYD merch. I really, really do appreciate it. These Bag and Coil t-shirts are on the website right now, including these beanie hats. Oh my God, I've got a Nissan Note coming into my lane. Just straight in front of me, no indication, what is this? Anyway guys, like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment below. I'll see you all on the next video. Cheers guys.